This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Now let's bring on the legend, baby, Bill Lindsay. Oh, man. All right. Bill.
Ready to rock and roll.
Ready, bro. I am ready. And I got to tell you, dude, I thought about you last night.
Oh.
That off-balance goal by Reinhardt. I go, bro, that's Billy Lindsay right there. That's Billy Lindsay right there. I don't know. Did you think about that? I wasn't listening to the broadcast at that moment because I was watching TV. So I'm just wondering, did you kind of relate to that goal at that moment right there?
I was lost in the moment. I didn't really relate or correlate with what was going on.
Has anybody mentioned to you that at least yet?
Oh, yeah, the fan base, yeah. I was going on Twitter, yeah, reminiscent of Bill Lindsay. So Sam Reinhardt's able to do it with the 4 goals. Spectacular, scintillating, all in one motion. Takes the stick off Bouchard, then dusts Ekholm, the defenseman, then on the seat of his pants just shells it. That's a skill level. I was just chopping at a puck, whacking at it. His play has a little bit more skill involved than mine did.
You know, and you retweeted a tweet of mine a couple of weeks back or a month ago or whatever the hell it was. And I said that your Panthers team is really the same team that we're watching right now. It's the same determination. It's the same physicality. It's the same fearlessness and all of that. And the same goalie. The only difference is talent. You guys got there on balls and grit and your style of play that you limited people from scoring. You didn't have these guys that can obviously put it in the back of the net. That's the only difference but really the foundation of your team is what makes the foundation of this team. Really, kind of the same.
Yeah, it's similar in a lot of ways. It's a special group of men in that locker room that we have to accomplish this. And it took a lot for an expansion team in the 3rd year to get to a Stanley Cup final. And Scott Mellanby, the leadership, I learned a lot. And what has to happen in that room is you got to have a deep love and passion for the teammate sitting beside you. I'm going to go out there, and it starts from the top on down with your leadership group, and everyone has to pull the rope in the same direction. There's this intense fear of failure, not for yourself, but for that person sitting beside you. He's going so damn hard. Look at the way that he's playing. I got to go out and do the same thing. Paul Maurice, the coaching staff, the way that this team is built, it's nasty, it's mean, it's skilled, and they come after you. And they're going to take a piece out of you, win or lose. And that's why teams in this playoffs, this year, last year, the year before, just have a really hard time keeping up for 60 minutes of a game. Forget about it when it goes to game 5, 6, 7. And it's just, they're just eating at you with all this skill and coming after you. And they score these unbelievable goals, but they never stop being committed on all areas of the ice. They stay within the system. We had a DNA identity back in the early 90s. This team knows exactly who they are.
Yes.
It's going to be, they know exactly. They got the greatest identity in the NHL, and that starts with Bill Zito, GM ownership, all the way down, and then Paul Maurice making it work. And you don't make it work without players that are going to go out there and do the work.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Doug McLean and you guys, you knew who you were and you stayed in your game, in who you are and all that. You didn't try to get fancy. You knew you had to be blue collar all the way through. And that's what ended up getting you guys there. And then you ran into a Panthers-like team in the Avalanche.
Yeah,
very
good.
Day, right?
Yeah, the modern day. So that's where you're getting into this team. Everyone talked about the Oilers' depth coming into this series, better than ever. We're getting contributions throughout. Sam Bennett was our 4th leading scorer in the playoffs, points wise.
Right.
With 22. We had 3 others with 23, 2 others with 19. Evan Rodriguez was the short man on the stick on our top 9 with a mere 17 points. Trying to figure out that balance with Marchand and everyone.
Defense score on this team, dude.
Oh, we I don't know what the final number is, but coming into the Stanley Cup final, we had 16 goals from defensemen, the most in the NHL. And they're locked down. Have fun going against Mikkel and Jones, 6'4", 6'6", wingspan, Forsling that skates like a rocket. Ekblad down deep in the corner is tough. McDavid's got to come through layers. It's just like going through an onion. At the end of the day, it's going to make you cry. You're just peeling it back. I'm going through after. What more can I do? But you see on the other side, and Paul Maurice and the coach. Okay, we're going with the same lineup. We're going with the same lineup. We're going with the same lineup. On the other side, Chris Knoblauch. I'm changing my goalie. We need a different goalie. Sergei Bobrovsky played every minute. Chris Knoblauch on the other side. Got to take this player out, put this player in. I need new line mates for Draisaitl. Maybe someone else with McDavid. Sort out my third, fourth lines. Everything game starts. We're behind. Let's go with 97 and 29 on the same line. And we'll play them half a hockey game and see if it works.
Dude, you sound like Skinner. I watched all the interviews yesterday, and Skinner, their goalie, was talking about it, and he goes, they won because they were consistent. They played the same way every single period, every single shift, every single night, and I felt that we changed. And that's what the Panthers do. They get you out of your game, and all of a sudden you want to fight with them, and they're like, "Oh, so now you want to play our game?" And that was the stupid thing that Toronto and the Oilers did. Instead of, you're a skill team, bro, play your game. Play your game, because that's the only way you're going to have a shot. But when you start getting into the game of trying to get a little dirty and get a little scrappy, well, then now you're playing into the game that the Panthers want you to play. And so it's just really hilarious. And when I'm watching Skinner last night, how he's just talking about their consistency is what made them what they are.
Yeah, it is. It's just rinse and repeat, and just go after it. And that's a problem. And what is it? Those men in that locker room, and the Bond and Paul Maurice. So you go back to when we won, and Bill Zito, when we won that President's Trophy, it's high flying and going. And they let go of the coaching staff, Andrew Burnett, the Joe Quenneville thing, and Andrew Burnett had a really good run with this team. But they go to Paul Maurice, bring Bill Zito in, and Paul Maurice says, we got to change. Like, this is not going to work.
Right.
In the postseason. We have to dump it in. And they bought into that philosophy. And then the Huberdeau trade. I love Jonathan Huberdeau. Amazing things down here in South Florida. But the trajectory of this franchise changed the minute Matthew Tkachuk arrives.
Amen.
And got on board with this team. So that mindset, that mentality, it goes throughout that locker room. And then what Tkachuk was playing through in this postseason, so the hernia and everything down near the groin area, ripped off the bone. Who does that? And who gets a point a game? That's not human. That's not what normal humans do. To do all that, to put it in perspective, my goodness gracious, the toughness, you got to have skill. You need skill, but there has to be will behind it. We had intense will with pretty good skill, but it was limited to your point.
Yeah.
This team has that will and that urge and that desire and that passion just bursting out. Yeah, we got a little bit of skill to back that up. And that's where all of a sudden you are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, man. And, Bill, they've created an environment now, because it's funny how they like to use that whole tax thing of the state and all that kind of crap. It's like, first of all, you got to have the right owner. You got to have the right general manager. You got to have the right coach. You got to have the right players. That's really, you can have whatever tax break, or you can have all the money in the world and all that. If you don't make the right decisions, which is what's been the Panthers' problems for many years, is that they didn't make the right decisions. And so now you actually have an ownership group and a front office and a head coach. They make the right decisions. It's not about the resources. Lots of people have resources, dude. This is not the only state where you get, breaks on taxes. Other don't the Dallas Stars have the same breaks we do?
Yeah, Nashville also has it. Seattle.
Whatever, dude. You still have to build a team, and we didn't know how to build a team forever. And now they know how to build the team, and now the cheap excuses come out. But to my main point is, Now you've created an environment that players are willing to take a little less to be a part of, because they know they're going to be part of a winner, because they know that the people they're going to play with are just like they are. They're wired the same way, like you were wired, that kind of stuff. I think that's the other golden thing that has happened out of all of this, not just the winning and not just the cups, but now you've got an environment that people want to be a part of.
Yeah, that's the true. And to the tax breaks, how was that working between 98 and about 2024?
Yeah,
Yeah,
give me
it was amazing, those tax breaks, what it did for this hockey team. And everyone forgets that Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews in Toronto, and those boys are making 10 million on the side in endorsement deals up in Canada.
right.
There's money at that, so there's difference. So throw that out. That doesn't matter. The culture here, you have 3 goals. I had 3 goals. Most NHL, you dream of playing in the NHL. That's your dream. And once you step on, you got that first game. Okay, made it to the NHL. Now, how do I stay in the NHL? That is the toughest part. How do I belong in this league? Where do I go from here? Okay, I'm a defensive guy. I have to hit everything. I got to be nasty. If I do that, I got a chance to stay in this league. 3-4 years, I'm an NHLer. I belong here. I understand that. After that, one singular goal should be on your mind. I want to win a Stanley Cup championship. And it hurts as a player. 96, my only chance. When you retire, you have regrets. Not like from heart, but that Stanley Cup resume missing hurts. It hurts as a player to walk away. But to be with an organization that I love, being down here from the start, that's so ingrained with this community, I can't really explain what it means for me in South Florida to see what this Panther team has been able to do, and that's culture, and that is the moves that you make. And Bill Zito at the trade deadline, big moves, Marchand, big splashes, Seth Jones, that usually doesn't work out. But if you're putting round pegs into round holes, it works. And yeah, where are we without those couple of trades? People want to come here. If you're a hockey player and you got any kind of cojones, you want to win a Stanley Cup.
Yes.
So to be part of it, and you see what's going on down here in South Florida, yeah, sign me up for that. What's the dollar amount? Yeah, a little haircut. Yeah, I'll walk away. The Stanley Cup rings, all these guys just got, the new guys on board, Nate Schmidt, all those guys, they're all making a few extra million. Once you become a Stanley Cup champion, tack five extra years onto your career. That you got it. Like you can play when you're 35 and if you do this at 27, 28, yeah, he's won 2. Bring him on. Let's bring him on here. So that's the beauty of this whole thing. Winning and decision making is the difference. They've done it down here.
Yeah. And you know what, Billy? The other thing that's amazing is the toughness, the mental toughness of this team to get to this grind 3 straight years, play more games than anybody else, and have a shorter off season than everybody else, and then to climb back on that horse and do it all over again. And now next year, not only are you getting everybody's best, but dude, you're breaking teams up, because Toronto and the Oilers are not going to come back the same, because they're going to go, okay, we've done this over and over again. We can't beat them. We have
Toronto
to build.
Maple Leafs by Mitch Marner.
Yeah, right. Now they're going to have to build their teams, or they're going to try to beat the Panthers. It's amazing what the Panthers have to overcome mentally and physically, and how you have an entire league now just trying to scheme against you, bro.
It's crazy. Look at Boston. That record season, beat them the next year. All of a sudden, Jim Montgomery, one of the best coaches in the league. We need a new coach in Boston. It's staggering what happens with this team, and just to kind of continue to grow through that, and just this is, as you said, you're just trying to just continue on here and push it, and with those other teams trying to identify how do you get by this, how do you get through this, and it's tough. And it's a copycat league.
Yeah. It's fun, dude.
We play a 1-1-3 lock in the neutral zone. A wing lock, yeah. So,
Bill,
I cut you. cut out for 1 second.
It's cool.
Yeah, guys.
It's beautiful that you also got to kind of thank the Tampa Bay Lightning, because ultimately that was the Panthers' motivation right there. It's like, okay, if we're going to be the best in the league, we got to be the best in the state. And so we got to beat those people. And once you overcame that hurdle from the team on the West Coast, everything else came together, dude.
Yeah. Mecca of hockey, where's it at? Is it in Toronto? Is it in Montreal? Last 6 years, it's in Florida. 6 straight, finally, Stanley Cup appearances by teams in Florida, 4 Stanley Cup championships. The ride with the Tampa Bay Lightning, now with the Florida Panthers. You asked me back in '93 that I would see this kind of growth in hockey. I'd say you're insane. We had that little tiny practice rink in Miami Arena where we're dressed in a dressing room where rats are running around, literal rats.
Yeah.
That's why the lore comes on today. So I go run these London play programs for 5 to 9-year-old kids, NHL, NHLPA sponsored, sold out. There it is. And we have the full on rat, the 95, 96. Fear the rat. Oh gosh, that's beautiful. That lives today. But I go around these rinks, 5 to 9-year-old kids, sold out every rink, all the way from Kendall to West Palm Beach. There's about 7, 8, 9 rinks in between there. We're running 6 weeks programs every Sunday at these weeks, and I'm going to all the ones to help out with Panthers, and that is really a fun part of my job.
Yeah,
and we've already had some.
And by the way, as long as I'm around, I'll keep all the memories from everything that's been accomplished and all that. And by the way, you're forgetting about the little old Pompano rink too.
Yeah,
because,
that's what. Yeah,
I would go cover you guys in practice there, and we'd have 300 freaking people outside waiting for autographs from you guys.
Yeah, that was fun. We were told to sign the autographs to get there because we were new down here to South Florida, and there's a point. Let's connect with the community.
You guys would have signed anyway. You guys would have signed anyways. Hockey players are completely different. You guys are cut from a completely different cloth. You guys aren't like other pro players, dude. You guys are nice. You are.
Yeah, we try to be. Well, here's the thing. With all this stuff that you accomplish, that's always been told almost in every hockey room, you do it with all your passion, your soul, and your heart and desire, but always do it with humility.
Yeah.
Because life is going to be hard no matter what. It's going to humble you, even if you're a Stanley Cup champion. There is no one that's going to go through life and just say, wow, what an easy ride that was. There is going to be failure, there's going to be heartbreak, and there's going to be pain. But you have to, I heard a great speech one time, I believe Denzel Washington, but just fail forward. Like every time you fail, do not stop and fail forward and continue. Learn, grow, fail. And that's what has to happen with champions. You have to fail. You have to go through it and you grow as a player. That's what happened in life. But if you never stop pushing and you never stop chasing and you always believe in this, there is a reward that is ever more satisfying than you thought. And you look back at all that pain and all that hurt. I would never have gotten here if I never was able to just kind of get through that. And that goes through like firefighters, cops, people battling diseases. It goes for everyone out there. There are champions in this life that don't get the recognition that this Panther team does, but there are a million heroes out there just like that. But this is what this Panther group kind of embodies. Yeah. Just never quit, fear of failure, and chase your dreams, and dreams become reality.
I have a saying I've gone by, and I've always told people, success is fed off of failure.
Yes.
And that's exactly it. Doesn't matter who you are. Whoever succeeded, they failed, and they failed gloriously before they succeeded, because that's how they
never stopped.
Yeah, that's how they got there. You know, Michael Jordan was cut from the JV team. You know, that's that's the way it goes, dude. You know, it's like, okay, I got to get better at this, and then you figure it out. You know, it's all good. Bill, as always, man, thank you for taking some time. I appreciate you immensely, and appreciate
big old bit to be back with you and doing the show with you. Brings back some great memories. And,
we go back a long ways, my brother. It's 3 decades now.
Love you, my friend.
So it's crazy stuff. And the beauty is these dudes are in their prime.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. This
On the
isn't
back.
like the Heat run at the end, like, okay, Wade was on one knee and you kind of knew, and Battier and Ray Allen, and it was kind of, okay, LeBron's leaving, all that, okay, that's over. And sometimes runs come to an end, you know, and I know, you know, it's kind of selfish for us to think this way, but that's the beauty. We still have some great memories that we can set up here because these guys are in their prime, dude.
Mm-hmm. And if somehow you got a third, you're going down as one of the greatest teams in history, especially the salary cap era. If you did it 3 in a row, you are one of the greatest teams that's ever been assembled. You're on the cusp of that. You're already historic.
Yeah.
You're already one of the.
It's a beautiful carrot dangling for next year, man.
Yep.
Beautiful carrot.
And so we'll see how they respond.
All right, Bill. You're a stud, my brother. We'll catch up down the line. Enjoy the celebrations, my friend. Well deserved.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great Bill Lindsay, baby, joining us here on the show. Love it, man. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.